Alpha Main to all stations. Supplies have reached Point Wisconsin. Out. All stations, this is Alpha Main. The enemy have lost Point Florida. We've seized the position. Out. All stations, this is Alpha Main. There's a new transmitter tower at Point Florida. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. Alpha Main to all stations. Additional weapons, ammunition, and supplies have reached Point New York. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. A transmitter tower has been raised. All stations, this is Alpha Main. The enemy... All stations, this is Alpha Main. A cistern for refueling is ready at Point Hawaii. Out.
All stations, do you copy? Yo, that was crazy.
All stations, this is Alpha Main. The enemy have lost Point... All stations, this is Alpha Main. There's a depot for light vehicles at Point Hawaii. Alpha Main to all stations. Light vehicles are now available from the depot at Point New York. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. A transmitter tower has been raised at Point Mississippi. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. We've just raised a transmitter tower at Point Iowa. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. A transmitter tower has been raised at Point Main. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. A depot has been constructed for light vehicles at Point Main. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. We've seized the enemy COP at Point Alabama. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. Alpha Main to all stations. We've just raised a transmitter tower at Point Alabama. Out.
All stations, all copy.
We've seized the enemy COP at Point Minnesota. Out.
Copy, paste these balls on your chin.
We have a friendly chopper up in the air. We're ready to do pickups and drop-offs.
All stations, this is Alpha Main. There's a new transmitter tower at Point Montana. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. Fuel is now available from Point Main. Alpha Main to all stations. We've captured the FOB at Point Oklahoma. Out.
Hey, Hilo, I'm about to go to Wyoming and cap that and put a flag up. Do you think I could get a pickup from there and flown up the mountain near it so I could capture that radio tower up there?
Alright, let's try not to steamroll him on this one.
Alpha Main to all stations. A transmitter tower has been raised. Alpha Main to all stations. Alpha Main to all stations. We've just raised a transmitter tower at Point Oklahoma. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. Supplies have reached Point Main. Out. All stations, this is Alpha Main. The enemy have lost Point Alaska. We've seized the position. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. Fuel is now available from Point Kansas. Out.
Don't mind, help me.
Alpha Main to all stations. We've just raised a transmitter tower at Point Alaska. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. Heavy vehicles are now available. Alpha Main to all stations. We've seized the enemy COP at Point Wyoming. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. The enemy are targeting Point Alabama. Out. All stations. This is Alpha Main. There's a depot for heavy vehicles at Point... Alpha Main to all stations. A transmitter tower has been raised at Point Wyoming. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. We've captured our primary objectives. Out. All stations. This is Alpha Main. The enemy of Point Alabama. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. Fuel supplies have reached Point Oklahoma. Out. Alpha Main to all stations. A transmitter tower has been raised at Point Nebraska. Out.